Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Skyrim Special Edition. So we can see here we're at touching the sky as far as our quest in the Dawnguard DLC, which just means we need to fast travel from where we were to over here to locate this bow. And we've already even been in this cave, so I don't even really know if it's going to be restocked. The It's looking more and more like I'm going to have to dismiss my companion and play as the Dragon Lord and try to get 11 points in Dragon Lord ability after all of the DLC levels are done. Because we're about to get the bow, and that's going to at least start the final act, if not finish the final act of Dawnguard. And the storyline here is we've read 2 of the 3 Elder Scrolls, so why did we need the 3rd one? I guess we needed the 3rd one to figure out what we're going to do with the bow afterwards. But, am I going in circles? Did I just go in a full circle? Like, this is where I just started. Alright, let's try that again. Is it down in the water? Hmm. Nope, doesn't really look like there's anything in the water either. This is interesting. I must have missed something. Yeah, I missed this way. Alright. That's an awkward way to begin. Wow.
Where'd you come from?
Right next to it. And it doesn't even see me. My sneak is so high. You can be right in front of a creature and it won't even see you. And see, I don't know if you actually increase your visibility or decrease your visibility by taking these torches off the sconces. If you do something like that, it almost doesn't even really matter because most of the points in the game have things like this that you couldn't put out, not even with like some kind of magic spell or something. Where am I supposed to be going now? This looks like I'm supposed to jump down. Like, can even knock the wood, which is interesting because that's not something we've had a lot of interaction with. So I'm looking here, just trying to be very thorough. So it's possible maybe I did come into this cave before and just got to this point and didn't do anything else. It certainly says I haven't cleared out this cave. Grab some moonstone ore. I don't know how much items I have particularly. I guess here we go. The water is pushing me very fast, which is odd. And then we fall down some more and there's all kinds of spiders following me now. And then we follow some more. And my new bow now seems to work just fine. Going mushrooms. Like, again, on the glowing mushrooms, you can only pull some of those, so you can't actually reduce the game to total blackness, but that would certainly be a bad mistake even if you could do that, because you wouldn't want to play the game in total blackness. Even if you were playing as a vampire and trying to roleplay there, that's not worth the frustration and hassle of not being able to see where you're going. And I don't know why I'm really bothering to collect items and stuff. Or kill creatures. Or do anything. The truth is that as we are approaching probably 200 hours of gameplay, it's impossible for me not to become jaded with all of it. I need to go play a completely different game with a completely different story that's not fantasy based and not centered around grinding and killing creatures. Like, even if I was going to do something like that is an extreme opposite of this, which I wouldn't even say Fallout 4 is an extreme opposite of this, it's just the same game in a different place setting. But let's say I was going to go play Borderlands, which is probably the most different RPG you could think of, or I can think of right now. That still would be very frustrating. Let's see, we've got this note, and we'll search this chest.
Why would anyone want to set up camp here?
Looks like there's what did that chain just open? Well, I have no idea what that chain just opened. And I think we came from that location. And I think that's the wrong way, so down we go. Tripwire. So we know we didn't come this way. There's no way that my companion Serena wouldn't have activated the tripwire if that was the case. Suppose I could look at the local map. Locate Uriel's bow. And see, this way seems like it just connects back to that way. Good. So I think we did go the right direction. It would be a weird puzzle if it turns out that there's like 3 pull chains all located very far from where the door is, and you had to pull all 3 of them before the door unlocked. That would be kind of crazy. And let's see. Well, I think we're still going in the right direction. And I'll be surprised if, I mean, wouldn't be incredibly crazy for there to be a Dawn Guard character showing up, or a these are just trolls. I wouldn't be surprised if vampires or a Dawn Guard character showed up. Even her father. It would make not a decent amount of sense. Alright, so I'm at 372 as far as inventory weight, which means I'm good. It looks like the bow might just be around here. Where's that other one I killed? Not that rock. Not that rock. Where'd he go? His body must have fallen down somewhere. Oh well, I don't care. Enough. Maybe I miss out on 1 unit of troll fat. Or maybe some emeralds or something. Alright, so here we go. Seems like I can't kill this guy. Or it's a statue.
What's that?
Come forward. You have nothing to fear here.
Who is this? Knight Paladin Jelenbar.
I am Knight Paladin Gelabor. Welcome to the great chantry of Auriel.
This cave is a temple to Auriel.
Auriel, Alkosh, Akatosh, so many different names for the sovereign of the Snow Elves.
Snow Elves, you're Falmer.
I prefer Snow Elf. The name Falmer usually holds a negative meaning to most travelers. Those twisted creatures you call Falmer, I call the Betrayed.
Interesting. I imagine you know why we're here.
Of course. You're here for Auriel's bow. Why else would you be here? I can help you get it, but first, I must have your assistance.
Interesting. What type of assistance do you need? Let's just get to the point.
Bertha, my brother.
Kill your brother, why?
The kinship between us is gone. I don't understand what he's become, but he's no longer the brother I once knew. It was the Betrayed, but they did something to him. I just don't know why Auriel would allow this to happen. They swept into the chantry without warning, and began killing everyone without pause. The chantry was a place of peaceful worship. I led a small group of paladins, but we were no match for the Betrayed's sheer numbers. They slaughtered everyone, and stormed the inner sanctum, where I believe they corrupted Vertha. He's alive. I've seen him, but something's wrong. He never looks as though he's in pain or under duress. He just stands there and watches, as though waiting. Leaving the way shrines unguarded would be violating my sacred duty as a Knight Paladin of Auriel. And an assault on the Betrayed guarding the inner sanctum would only end with my death. Yes, let me show you.
So this thing looks like it's gonna transport me. Kinda wanna come over here and see if he's got anything important, but he doesn't.
So this is Snow Elf magic. Incredible.
This structure is known as a way shrine. They were used for meditation and for transport when the chantry was a place of enlightenment. Prelates of these shrines were charged with teaching the mantras of Auriel to our initiates.
What's that basin in the center signify?
Once the initiate completed his mantras, he'd dip a ceremonial ewer in the basin at the way shrine's center and proceed to the next way shrine.
So these initiates had to lug around a heavy pitcher of water. Marvelous. How long would they have to do that?
Well, once the initiate's enlightenment was complete, he'd bring the ewer to the chantry's inner sanctum. pouring the contents of the ewer into the sacred basin of the sanctum would allow him to enter for an audience with the arch-curate himself.
All that just to end up dumping it out? Makes no sense to me.
It's symbolic. I don't expect you to understand.
So,
Interesting.
let's get this straight. We need to do all that nonsense to get into the temples so we can kill your brother and play Mario's bow.
I know how it all sounds. But if there was another way, I'd have done it long ago.
Look at the
The
position
only way
in
to
which
get to
she's
my brother
standing.
is by following in the initiate's footsteps and traveling from way shrine to way shrine, just as they did. The first lay at the end of Darkfall Passage, a cavern that represents the absence of enlightenment. There are 5 in total,
5?
spread far apart across the Chantry. Caves? Oh no. The Chantry encompasses far more than a few caves, as you'll soon discover. But before I send you on your way, you'll need the initiate's ewer.
So he gives me one of those?
Once you've located a way shrine, there'll be a spectral prelate tending to it. They will allow you to draw the waters from the shrine's basin, as if you've been enlightened. This may be the last time we're able to converse. If you have any questions before you leave, I suggest you ask them. Otherwise, all I can do now is grant you my hopes for a safe journey.
Okay. So look, she's got her hand on her hip. She's
I
standing
expected as much.
with one foot. And it seems like we made very well.
I expected as much.
Who were your
We were
people?
once a wealthy and prosperous society that occupied a portion of Skyrim. Unfortunately, we were constantly at war with the Nords, who claimed the land as their ancestral home. In a manner of speaking, we had always maintained an uneasy alliance with the underground-dwelling dwarves, and when faced with extinction, we turned to them for help. Surprisingly, they agreed to protect us, but demanded a terrible price. The blinding of our race.
What do you mean they were blinded?
There were splinter groups that resisted the agreement, and even some that sought alternate alliances. But when it was all said and done, those elves were either slaughtered, vanished, or gave up and took the dwarves' bargain.
What turned your people into the betrayed? That's an interesting question.
I've often asked myself that very same question. The blinding of my race was supposedly accomplished with a toxin. Certainly not enough to devolve them into the sad and twisted beings they've become.
Why weren't the snow elves here affected?
The Chantry is quite isolated, so it took some time for word of the dwarves' offer to reach us here. By the time the compact had been completed, it was too late for us to even attempt to intervene.
Is that why you retained your sight?
Correct. We only numbered perhaps 100 at the time, so our presence remained a secret to the dwarves and the Nords. Ironically, our undoing came at the hands of our own people.
You mean the betrayed?
Yes, they swarmed the Chantry in vast numbers until we were completely overrun. We never really stood a chance. I assumed that the Arch-Curate was corrupted by them when they found a way to breach the inner sanctum. Verther and myself are the only 2 snow elves that remain.
That's enough questions.
Only I'll keep you free
So
from
in the main story, it was her, Serena, and him talking, and that's really why I think not playing
Questions?
as the
I expected as much.
as the main character makes some sense, because let's see, is the item that I picked up, it's called the Initiate's Ur, and you can't equip it, so there's nothing here to pick up, and there's no water in it.
Questions? I expected as much.
And so we're at the end of this cave and there's nothing. This is just the beginning of it. Alright.
Questions?
But
I
yeah,
expected as
it
much.
makes a lot of sense to play as the sidekick of the main character,
It wasn't as unpleasant as I thought it would be.
so that
Kind
you
of
could
soothing, actually. I feel a little warmer now.
having her be the main character of this DLC and just taking a step back. Ooh, that's interesting. And listening to her talk and do all the dialogue instead of sitting in front of all these screens and either me personally having to read them out, which I guess you wouldn't do if you weren't recording for YouTube. Although maybe some people do read out dialogue when they play the video games by themselves. Alright. It'd be interesting to see where exactly on the map we are. Let's see. Current position tells me I'm still under the same cave. Alright. We don't have a new quest or anything to start. So it seems like the Falmer in taking the toxin, it either mutated or the dwarves intentionally decided to mutate them into these creatures to protect their caves. I don't know why you would do that, other than maybe they had some Elder Scrolls knowledge that said it needed to happen, or otherwise the Dragonborn or some other event would not occur. If I had, for instance, gone to where the Elder Scroll was held in that dwarven city, and it had already been stolen many times over, then that would probably have made it a lot more difficult. But since it's a game where I would have always found what I was supposed to find, it doesn't really matter, and it only actually makes the story feel more realistic if they said that the Elder Scroll has been passing through different people's hands for hundreds of years. Well, it seems like there's only one way to go, and it's this way. They're using these glow creatures that we haven't seen at all before as good markers, and the fact that they disappear when you get close to them actually helps quite a bit too. It's subtly pointing us with light pointing the way forward. He doesn't see me. Well, I guess technically there would be no reason why he would see me, considering they're blind. I did not catch on to the idea that they were blind. I knew they wore masks and all, but it didn't directly connect. So this Darkness Cave originally wouldn't have had any Falmer in it. Like, originally this cave would have just been an empty cave. A dark and empty cave. Let's see. There's more of them in here, we can see by our radar. And there's some slight weirdness here in the fact that most... Let's see. Most video games modernly would at least give some consideration to getting rid of even the moderate amount of of interface that's here, because while it's done pretty well, there is still a decent amount of interface with the map and cursor, and I've certainly heard people in the video game industry want to get rid of everything, and that probably wouldn't work too well here. And there are mods that change these, change the interfaces to put them in slightly more. And Elder Scrolls 4, from what I've seen, had more interface than this even does, which, so they've already reduced it. But the quest markers at the top and center, I kind of wish they were at the bottom, personally. And then the health, magic, and stamina are fine, but honestly, you can probably get rid of health, magic, and stamina as a indicator completely, because you could make the sides of the screen go red when you're low on health. You could make a noise when you're out of magicka, and you can start breathing heavily and moving slowly when you're out of stamina. Let's see. I'm losing some antenna here. Ooh. Gleam Blossom. Interesting new ingredient, I believe we just got. Let's see. Gleam Blossom 4. I eat one, I know all 4 of its abilities now. What we need here, oh, I get 2 ingredients now because I put so many points into my alchemy. Now when I pick things up, I double the number of ingredients I have. I forgot about that. We need to figure out how to make neck leather and see if that actually would help. Is there something over here? Seems like the light is pointing me this way.
Something's not right here. Be careful. I think we may be in for some trouble.
That bridge was booby-trapped. Was there? Yeah, there was. I could have lockpicked that. Not really a big deal to me, though. I wonder if it would get down to almost a cell phone game, something like Hitman Go or something, which I recently played and did not enjoy at all, which is a shame because I thought I would. I was really looking forward to it. But a game where the enemies just don't move at all, and until you get too close. I suppose at a certain level, if you go down that route and the characters aren't going to walk or have any walking pattern, you then have to make the penalty for getting too close and being seen very, very high. But that's what I've turned this game into, is this weird twist. This is certainly unique. This weird thing where the engines are just standing, the enemies are just standing around. Of course, there's still a lot of picking up of items happening. Kind of wish it didn't. We've got this rock here acting as a bad indicator that we're supposed to go around it. And there's not enough glow blossoms around it to point me towards this direction. And hopefully I'm not just going in circles. It doesn't feel like it. This is cave 1 of 5 though. And if this is normally, you would say in a video game, the first one's going to be the small tutorial one. I guess we could get some more chorus eggs. Now it's only when I harvest things that I get double. So I had like 100 chorus eggs at one point, way more than any of the other ingredients, and now I may get to the level of having 200. Where'd that guy go? There he is. Deadly lingering poison. It's not when you pick up items just on characters. You can't magically double those items, which is a little bit of a shame. Gold ore, healing. Wouldn't that be weird if I didn't have healing as a spell? It's possible I don't. For as little as I've done with magic. They don't even see me. They're just walking blindly. We're walking through this waterfall. See, do I go that way? Or do I go this way? Daedric armor? Well, I gotta take it just to sell it. Man, I really need to start looking for booby traps on these things. And that creature didn't even show up. And sure, I guess I could go in here and do some alchemy labs. Alchemy things. But I see no reason to.
Who's there?
She just reanimated that. Is there anything more in this section? No.
Who's there?
So here we go this direction. And I guess if I can successfully harvest some glowing mushroom, I'll get 2 glowing mushroom. My alchemy, if not at 100 already, is well, I guess I could just look. Let's see, what is my alchemy at? Speech alchemy is at 90. And see, the tripwires, when you can trip them, only activate traps that are really, really close. All the traps actually are really close, which I appreciate that. I would hate to activate a tripwire and then the floor for like 100 paces in every direction fell away and there was no chance of surviving it. It's a very fair booby trap system that you only are gonna take a moderate amount of damage at most, and as long as you have, well, you don't even really have to have too much health, because like I didn't have that much health. Like, my health is pretty low. I've never put anything into it. I would have put probably a massive amount of my upgrades into health if I didn't have the stamina issue. Yeah, in Elder Scrolls 6, if they could just get rid of stamina, that would be fine. Another note, like, I don't think it needs to be in the game at all. Let's see. And I assume these notes here are from people, from elves that didn't make it.
Be careful here. Whatever's on the other side of this, I don't know when to keep.
Well, that's a booby trap. And that's the door. But I wouldn't have actually been hit by either one of those at all. What's this thing? No soul gem large enough. Veil saber cat. Interesting. Unique item as far as his pelt. And see, it feels like now we're getting down to a level of some poison bloom. Ooh. Yeah, it feels like we're getting down to something as big as Blackreach. And this is just more evidence, I suppose, that Blackreach was an element that could very possibly have been cut and put in the Dawnguard DLC. And I guess they felt that the game needed Blackreach, or that they had enough DLC on their own. Now, in all honesty, they may very well have just done a copy and paste with the floor data. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to decorate the same place with different types of plants and a few different pillars here and there, and have the actual elevation and floor and rocks just be the same as another section. Or you could even potentially just have a randomized this thing is running away. Man. This thing is moving too fast. Wow. Well, that looked like a deer. A veil deer. Interesting. So we're in this complete underground area. I think I see something there. Guess not. We harvested poison bloom. There's something leaking here out of the rocks. Some kind of glowing thing that it makes me wonder if the Falmer aren't just radiation poisoned. And maybe the dwarves didn't do anything. Maybe the Falmer just got radiation poisoning. Survived the Darkfall Passage. How are we on the map? Well, we came in here, and I think we're probably supposed to go somewhere that way. Probably up. That's a weird sound effect. Sounds like I'm hearing an airplane. Let's get out of hide mode. Let's run around this way. So we got to here, we killed the deer. And I think we were probably supposed to stay on this path. There's an arrow just sitting straight up in the ground. And we haven't even been playing that long, okay. Alright, let's go back to our stealthy ways. I'm playing stealth right now just because I want to kill any creatures like that. The idea of harvesting interesting well, the deer died. Interesting. A couple of deer are sitting here. The lion ate the deer, or the saber cat ate the deer. Maybe I pushed that deer right next to it. What's weird is we're getting some weirdness as far as like wavy lines with the wind. Look at this. This is a bad animation. Just wavy lines. Probably because they're just overlaying and stretching the screen, adding some kind of weird motion blur style effect.
I think that's another way shrine up there. Here we go.
There we go. Fill the ewer. So we.
Welcome, initiate. This is the way shrine of illumination. Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel and fill your vessel with his enlightenment?
You need something?
Welcome, initiate. This
Yes.
then behold Ariel's gift, my child. May it light your path as you seek tranquility within the inner sanctum.
See, this seems like a really sucky thing for people to spend their afterlife standing around waiting for initiates to show up that aren't ever even gonna show up. And see, these are just elevators. We've seen elevators. They've changed them so they look different, but that's all they would have been otherwise. So, draw water. 1 done. To the next section. Now we go to the Forgotten Vale. And the good news is it doesn't look like it's going to be in darkness. Where are we in the map? According to this, we are now way up here, and there's a bunch of these. It seems like there's something to discover even. Like, because we did imply that we thought these were all going to be in caves, and now it seems like we're just going to walk out to Skyrim. Although a possibly sectioned off section of Skyrim. I guess we'll go up before we go down. Forgotten Vale discovered.
It's like a whole other world. Come on, the bow has to be in this valley somewhere.
Torch bugs aren't new characters. These are new.
Where'd you come from?
And there's a Vale saber cat. And the music starts. But honestly, I think I may just run through the second section. That this is supposed to be a peaceful place, and if we take out the elements of the Falmer, who probably aren't out in the Vale, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns into... Man, I am not a very good hunter. There's a mod that makes hunting more valuable, because it is very unvaluable right now. It's a waste of time. That's another thing that, since they've added so many things,
That beautiful Skyrim weather I've always heard about.
like if you...
Is that another one of those way shrines up there? I wonder where this one goes.
Let's see what this one does.
Welcome, initiate. This is the Way Shrine of Sight. Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel and fill your vessel with his enlightenment?
Yes.
Then behold Ariel's gift, my child. May it speed your journey to the inner sanctum.
And see, that was really short.
Sun. It would be better than this.
That was really, really short. Where does this go? Darkfall Passage. And I am here, and I just don't feel like... Yeah, I don't think I can just run this way and find another thing. See, because I'm still really just right there. So we're going back to Darkfall Passage. So they've just broken up this giant cave, is what they've done. Alright. And so we'll probably come to another section of the Forgotten Vale at some point, and that one doesn't count. I'm confused. Let's see. Now I'm here. Well, let's see. Let's run through all of this. See, this looks like ground. And if I went down there, there is a cave. So there's a couple different ways to go. Darkfall Passage. So, is this a full circle? It is, isn't it? We go up here, and then it takes us up to this point. So there's nothing down there. We've already been down there. Interesting. And there's nothing weird about our quest changing. We didn't come over here and look at these things. And there was nothing magical that happened when we walked through those things. Which... okay. I guess this is the way to go. And I don't even have my bow drawn. Couldn't even care. Like, I have enough time to pull out my bow, kill everybody, and collect all their souls before they even get one hit on me. And these aren't veil spiders. Or anything. I guess we'll start doing our stealth. Mostly I just need to do the stealth because I want gold ore vein. I guess I do want silver and gold and other things now because I have, even though I have hundreds of ingots of corrodium, I can only do so much with that. But I would like to smith a lot of things at some point, maybe. Serena really complains about being outside, so
It's the kind of thing I've been wanting to see. Makes everything else worth it.
yeah, it's a nice little place. And see, where are we on the map? Like, now we're all of a sudden really close to where we were. Unknown book. Bring Giant Fulmer tome to Urg Shab. Is there anything in this chest that's booby trapped? Not that I can tell. Looks like there might be something over there. But we're taking the high road. As long as the game lets me. This kind of feels like we're more just wandering around a place. Though, then... Seems like... Seems like we've reached something. I don't have the required item. Interesting. Where are we? See, we're not too far away from it. Anything behind this waterfall? Nope. Activate Paragon socket. Well, I don't have a Paragon. Whatever that is. And then books, we got this new book. Let's see. Unknown book. Not written in a language we can read. There goes a frost troll. Frost giant. Amethyst paragon. So we've never killed a frost giant before. So that's something new, I guess. Now I have this amethyst frost paragon, but the thing we saw over there didn't seem like it was an amethyst paragon receiver, if I was just to venture a wild guess. And there's a ghost, clearly. And there's another frost giant. Clearly. Make sure I actually hit it. Portal to Dogfall Grotto. Interesting. And see, he has the sapphire paragon. So let's try the sapphire one this time. Portal to Inner Sanctum. Well, I don't think we've made it to the Inner Sanctum before. Interesting. Look at some of the things over here. Ooh, this is just in a massive amount of items to make jewelry with. and they're just all over the floor. Nobody said anything about not being greedy. Let's just make sure we didn't miss even a single one. But yeah, I guess that's not the right one. And if that's a sapphire, let's just double check and see where this goes, because this might put us in some place that's really nice, and it might actually have no point whatsoever. Like, where are we on the map? We're in some Darkfall Grotto section that's this whole other area that I'm not sure I particularly want to do anything here, though, because if I jump down, I don't think I can get back up. So I'm gonna take both of these with me.
It's so bright out here. I don't know how you stand it.
And I'm really not certain that there's that many keys. We may find one more frost giant that has one more key, but wouldn't be too surprised if that's it. What things? I don't see any frost giants. And see, it seems like those Paragon things are just a side quest. They're throwing in a couple extra side quests, it seems like. And then way over there we have something, but where I'm located tells me that the only close thing is over here. So unless we are supposed to do something different, we're just gonna wander around this area.
You've arrived at the Way Shrine of Resolution. Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel and fill your vessel with his enlightenment? Then go forth, child. May the enrichment of Ariel strengthen your resolve as you undertake your journey to the inner sanctum.
But we've already been in the inner sanctum. He's not even looking, and he's bringing up these things. We draw 3. So it doesn't feel like it's gonna take us too much time, and I don't want to go back to the Darkfall passage though, because that would actually be a mistake. I think what we can do is work our way down here and actually work our way down here in the Forgotten Vale, and then I guess at that point we get the bow, or the game somehow decides we have more work to do. I'm starting to fill up with items, so I probably would need, at some point I'm gonna have to decide to drop some things, but otherwise we're doing pretty well. That's gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.